5. We know 5 hosts and musical guests. Caroline, what's up? How you doing? I can't believe it. I literally can't. I don't think they've released this many in one batch before. It's kind of amazing.
I'm thinking 3 has been the max that I've ever seen.
Yeah, maybe 4. I'm trying to think because the pandemic had 6 in a row, but they definitely like leaked those out. That wasn't like all at once. But yeah, crazy. We got 5 announcements to talk through today. Of course, you are watching the Corkboard Chronicle. As you know, when they make these announcements, that's what cues this episode. So we are meeting you right now on September 18th. When this actually uploads, nobody knows. But Caroline, how you been? It's been just a couple weeks since we debuted.
I've been good. Nothing too crazy. Just living the dream out here in Iowa.
Love it. I love to hear that.
Me and all the corn.
and the cicadas, like you talked about last time.
I think maybe they're kind of quieting down.
Oh, thank
God. Now we're getting. I think crickets are kind of replacing them for the time being. So that's,
Yeah, I went back home.
What I'm working with.
Yeah. I went back home to Florida a few weeks ago, and as I flew back, it was Labor Day, and as I flew back, a love bug started crawling on the window of the plane, and I was like, thank God I am getting out of here in September, because it gets so thick sometimes you can't breathe, like without risking breathing in a love bug. So I left that all behind me. I
was thinking about going to Florida soon, but maybe I should.
Well,
it's postponed.
Usually it's only the month of September that it's like really bad. So if you're not planning in September, like they should be cleared out by now. But also, global temperatures rising, such as it is, they are dying quickly. They're not surviving. Which, that's the one advantage.
Oh yeah. There are some perks.
Just a few perks. This podcast is going to take a turn once SNL ends. Alt-right theorizer Kirby Dobbs and Caroline Morrison. So anyway, we're here September 18th. They just dropped. First, I need to say one more thing. I am wearing the same exact shirt as episode 1, and I know that.
You're gonna do a uniform thing?
I don't. Okay, so here's the thing. When we did Waiting for Sherry O'Terry in September, the same exact thing. I wore a shirt, and we were just like, oh, we're free to record today. Let's go ahead and record. Several weeks later, hey, everybody's free. Everybody's available. And we have some guests this time. Let's just record. And Thomas pointed out that I had worn the same shirt. So then we talked about it, and we're like, well, now you have to wear it every single episode.
I mean, yeah.
So I did.
Yeah.
And now that I've made the same mistake, it's not even a mistake. It's just like, the first time this is what I was wearing when we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Then, the announcement came out. I'm wearing it again. So now I think this is my Corkboard Chronicle shirt.
It's your podcast shirt?
Officially, yeah. So no comments about it. I already know. Okay. Don't make me go Seth Meyers on you and do a corrections for this podcast. Fantastic series, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, how'd you think episode 1 went? Did you get to watch it back at all?
I did. I kind of skimmed through it because watching myself.
Yeah, and we were there for it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. I think it was good.
Yeah, I think we had a good thing going. The only thing I want to announce is that Saturday Night Live may have found it and copyright struck it when we did By the Numbers, because yes, I edited it with show footage. So we'll work on getting that back up, but right now it is still blocked worldwide. They made a point to tell me worldwide.
Awesome.
Sorry, but yeah, that should be up by the time this episode is up. I'll get to the bottom of it. But anyway, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Behold the lineup for the first 5 episodes of season 50. We've got 4 in a row, off a week, back November 2nd. I'm going to go through these one at a time, but just look at that. Look at that landscape. That is 10 celebrity bookings in the span of 6 weeks. I'm in awe. This is amazing.
It is a lot. I didn't know the corkboard was that wide.
I didn't either. It just keeps going, apparently. However many you need to fit in, it just expands. Surely it has something to do with, season 50. They want to make a splash and they want people talking about this.
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, I want to do some on the fly research real quick. SNL 49. Most of my Google searches begin SNL. The theory I went through in my mind just now is what if they're trying to really stuff this season because they're close to hitting their 1000th episode, which they are. Jake Gyllenhaal, Sabrina Carpenter was number 968.
But that's
that's
too many.
32 episodes. I don't think they can hit that this year, so we'll probably just get the standard 2021. That was just a quick on the fly, wait a second.
I didn't even think about that.
Maybe this is why they're starting with 4 in a row. Because wouldn't that be something? Here, obviously, we see the lineup. We got September 28th, Gene Smart and Jelly Roll. October 5th, Nate Bargatze and Coldplay. October 12th, Ariana Grande and Stevie Nicks. That is particularly huge.
That's a big one.
I am pumped for that. I didn't even know she had new music. I don't know if she even does.
Does she?
Or if she was just hey, I want to do SNL, and Lauren was okay.
All right, Stevie Nicks, if you want.
Please. I'll look that up next. Then we have, on October 19th, Michael Keaton and Billie Eilish, which I believe we discussed last week as one of the, potentials. And then November 2nd, John Mulaney and Chappell Roan. Thank you, Dumois. Am I right? They didn't get it for the debut, and I don't know if we talked about it last episode. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I had looked up Chappell Roan's tour schedule. She's famously on tour right now because she had to cancel a few dates to go to the VMAs. That caused a big stink. But that tour does not wrap up till October 13th. So that made the premiere relatively unlikely. But we still get her.
Yeah.
We got to take these one at a time. This is a big deal here, as we do with our By the Numbers segment, which might get canceled now. Copyright strikes. Gene Smart, that's one of those, I feel like these have happened more recently where it's one of those that's how has she not made it up? I mean, storied sitcom and film, she's been around a long time. And
she has. Yeah, it is surprising that it's not till now, especially since she won the Emmy last year, too.
She has won twice before for Hacks.
All for lead actress in a comedy?
All for lead actress in a comedy, which I hadn't realized. For some reason, I thought she hadn't won yet. But it was the series that had not won.
Okay.
And the series Hacks finally did win this weekend. That was a huge. That may have been the only surprise at the Emmys.
I was surprised with some of the Shogun wins. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, those were cool to see. That's true. In terms of the comedy category, I don't think many people were shocked until that big final, because with The Bear winning a lot of the awards leading up to the Comedy Series Award, it seemed like they may have had it in the bag. I think what's interesting that I didn't realize until now is that I don't think Hacks put out a season in 2023 for the 2023 season.
I think you're right.
So that would have made it, obviously not eligible. And so it's been a bit since Gene Smart's last win. Because
Io won.
Correct.
Last. Okay. Yeah. I'm why don't I remember Gene Smart winning last year? That was why.
That was why. Yeah. And so, Gene Smart. Now, here's another reason why this is a very interesting booking. With Gene Smart's hosting, definitely comes the Hannah Einbinder cameo.
Yeah.
Hannah Einbinder is Lorraine Newman's daughter.
Yes.
Is it possible? Could it be that Lorraine Newman comes back and makes her first cameo since the 40th anniversary.
I would be surprised if it didn't happen.
Even if she just walks on and waves,
Yeah,
I think
just
people would
monologue, stops by, you know, something like that. I'm sure she'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be even if she just shows up in the good night, she's just standing around.
Yeah,
like, that would be wonderful. I'd love to see her.
Season 50. She's an old cast member. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm sure she'll be there.
Yeah, it's all like converging on that being a distinct possibility. That's just going to be a lot of fun for everybody, I think. And then so the musical guest for that one is Jelly Roll. I have the same reaction. I have the same reaction every time I think about Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll.
It, like, just what a name. I know he is a very accomplished like performer. He is really good. He performed live at the Emmys, and I would like you to pinpoint. He performed the In Memoriam at the Emmys.
Yeah.
And I'd like you to pinpoint the exact moment that decision may have lost me.
And now, joining us in tribute to the members of our television family we've lost, Jelly Roll.
You can't say Jelly Roll. You can't say the phrase Jelly Roll in like an emotional, like deep way.
It takes all the gravitas out of anything that's about to happen. Just was said, you know. It stops you dead in your tracks, and you say, "I'm sorry, who?"
Yeah, like what was that? Again. Great decision because he performed very well, but like takes you out of it in the moment. Like you're not supposed to be giggling, but when you hear the phrase Jelly Roll, the natural human thing is to giggle.
Do you know any Jelly Roll songs?
I think that's one of the. I watched the VMAs this year too. I know I'm super hip, and I had this moment with a lot of people, like Benson Boone. I couldn't pick out of a lineup, but his songs are famous on social media, which then makes me go, "Oh,
that one,
him." Yeah. I think Jelly Roll has a couple like that, where when I hear him, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, Jelly Roll."
Of course, Jelly Roll.
Right? Yeah, of course. My favorite dessert, and the guy that sang that song, and both of those are first-time bookings. So interesting decision to start off season 50 like that.
That was it's an interesting first episode. I guess it's not what I would think they would go with for the very first episode, but it makes sense with the Emmys and all of that. But I just thought it would be a former cast member.
Yeah, I 100% did too, but I don't hate the booking at all.
No, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I see that episode and I go, all right, I'm pumped. Yep, 100%. They know what they're doing. Those bookers know what they're doing. And then next up, we got Nate Bargatze coming back for the second year in a row.
I'm very excited about this one.
I think this is a good call. This is a really, I mean, he's got very broad appeal right now. Everybody kind of they know who he is for one, and that's your first obstacle when you're talking about people who aren't maybe necessarily on social media.
Yeah.
And then B, like non-controversial, you know, like Shane Gillis. People know who he is from several circles, but not everybody feels the same way. So this is a good call, I think.
I'm excited. Not to say I knew him before anybody, but like I have been paying attention to him for a super long time. And last year when he got announced as the host, I was so shocked and so excited because I don't know if last year everybody knew who he was. The same way?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I had heard the name, and then my cousin, my cousin's kids, Elliot, for those of you who watched Fake Jeopardy, Elliot made an appearance. Elliot was talking about Nate Bargatze, and I'm like, this guy has Nate Bargatze. And then when they got announced, I texted my cousin. I was like, I think this is who you guys were talking about. She's like, oh, yeah, that's really awesome. So what you're saying is Nate Bargatze owes all of the success to you.
I think so. I've been a big proponent of him.
Yeah, I think you need an invite to that VIP box that night. And then, so Nate Bargatze coming back for the second time. Coldplay coming back for the 8th as a band, and then Chris Martin for his 9th.
They're a staple, I feel like, for the last I don't know, 20 years probably. They've probably been kind of in and out.
Yep, I think so. I believe their first episode was in 2001, and then pretty much every few years, like clockwork, ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they have new music out. That's one of those groups that's like, is Coldplay putting out an album? Probably.
They kind of always are, yeah.
Yeah. It's very exciting. And then Ariana Grande hosting and not performing. This will be the first time that happens.
Because she hosted last season.
She was a musical guest last season.
You're right, Josh Brolin.
With Josh Brolin.
That's right.
Appeared in like half the sketches, I think.
I was thinking of the Moulin Rouge one she did with Bowen.
Which
was basically just her and Bowen.
Yeah. And she was in the it was some kind of group therapy sketch.
Yes.
AA, Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, I think.
Yes.
And then she was all over that show. So it kind of makes sense that she'd show up hosting. Because at first my thought was, oh man, she's not performing. She has the album, and she hasn't gotten to perform from the album yet. And like, duh, of course she has. She did it in April. So we got that. And so an instance of someone appearing twice in the same calendar year, which people don't often do. It was only 6 months ago that she was on the show, and now she'll be back.
I guess I'm surprised that she's doing it, that she's not waiting and doing it a little closer when Wicked is coming out.
That is a little, maybe, because you would have expected that for maybe like the Thanksgiving show, because I think that's when it
I think it does.
premieres.
Yeah, I think it comes out late November. So I guess I'm surprised she's doing it now, but maybe she'll be back again.
Maybe she just keeps coming back. I mean, her and Bowen are besties now,
Maybe Cynthia Erivo is going to host the Thanksgiving show.
Now that would be really cool.
That would
her
be
as a
fun.
musical guest. I mean, I don't think she has music on her own, but I don't know, man. Seeing her live would be fantastic. I can talk about this. I interned at Colbert back in 2019, and she was a musical guest. She performed, or she like off the cuff, went over to John Batiste. Hey, do you know this song? And he played it, and she performed it just sitting right there. It is a mesmerizing minute and a half of live performance. It's so good. But the two in the same calendar year, I think I talked about this last week. I kind of think Sabrina Carpenter's on the way to do the same thing.
I'd be surprised if she wasn't.
Yeah, because again, I'm sure we covered this, but just in case we didn't, she only performed one song from the album that just came out in August when she did the season finale. So that album is ripe with songs that would be amazing live, like the other two, Please, 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 and Taste, that she performed on the VMAs a couple weeks ago.
It was so good.
Yeah, so there's precedent here to see those again. But yeah, that's Ariana Grande with musical guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for Stevie Nicks. My jaw dropped when I saw that one.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. That lineup together.
I mean, that's your
inspired choice.
That's your ratings, through the roof ratings high of at least the early part of the season. That could be like your Emmy episode that you submit. Mm-hmm. Sky's the limit for Ariana Grande, Stevie Nicks. But yeah, Stevie Nicks has not been on as musical guest since 1983, December of 1983. And,
was that just solo?
That was solo. Yeah, Fleetwood Mac never came on. It was so. Lindsey Buckingham also appeared once, and Mick Fleetwood had a different band called Mick Fleetwood's Zoo that appeared also in the 80s. But all of them only appeared once.
Okay. Was Lindsey Buckingham, his appearance, I assume he was a musical guest? It wasn't just whenever he cameoed in What's Up With That?
Correct. It was a musical guest, yeah. Because he's obviously been around, like, cameoed since, but as musical guest, that was his last time, which was 1981. Getting to speak. Yeah. And I wish I had looked this up before we started recording, but like now you got to think about people who haven't been credited in an episode in terms of like host and musical guest. This could be the longest gap that somebody has gone since appearing on the show. I don't know for certain.
Yeah.
I'm putting the text in now of whether that's true or false and who has that record if it's false. But because you're talking 41, 42 seasons since her last appearance, 41 seasons since her last appearance. That's a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody clears that.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I would say Paul Simon maybe, but I feel like
Paul Simon,
on more frequently than you think.
Right. I know he was a musical guest in like 2006. Okay. And then in 2018. And I think
was he?
I think one time between those two, maybe with Ed Helms in 2011.
Oh.
So he's on quite a bit. And then the only other person that comes to mind is Eddie Murphy. Right. But even his last 80s hosting was after 1983, and obviously his most recent hosting was before 2024. So that is not the longest gap. I'll calculate it and see if that is true, but it's very possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one's going to be insane. Whatever she performs, it's going to be incredible.
I hope she sings Silver Springs. That's the Stevie. Gosh. That's what I've been kind of stuck on lately with her.
That live performance, that 97 concert.
Yeah.
That's the one where she's singing it right at.
At him.
Oh my God. That's very ready for that episode. Let's do it right now. Gotta wait till October 12th. Then we got October 19th, Michael Keaton. I had another like dumbass moment where I was like, I wonder what he's in.
Why? Yeah.
I wonder what movie is coming out that he's in Beetlejuice. And then with that being October 19th, Halloween episode, it's all locking in.
Beetlejuice come out at Halloween?
That is a great question.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, why September?
Yeah, why Labor Day? This doesn't make any sense.
Why don't you just wait until, I don't know.
There had to be a reason. Maybe it has to do with like people's habits of going to movies. Like maybe Halloween just isn't a big movie time.
Maybe it's yeah.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, very, very interesting. But so his hosting more aligns with Halloween. The movie premiere, not so much. But yeah, I sat there and like pondered and had to Google, what is Michael Keaton in right now? Like, yeah, duh. But yeah, he had one of the stronger episodes of season 40, and it's interesting that now he has hosted in season 40. Now he's hosted in season 50. Guess that's just his. And then I believe his first two hostings were also 10 years apart.
Interesting. So he's only coming back for the milestone seasons.
The first two times was 82 and 92.
Okay.
But so those weren't the milestone seasons, but the fact that those were 10 years apart is also spooky and interesting, and nobody cares. I do, but no one else does. That is October 19th, probably your Halloween episode. And then of course, Billie Eilish as the musical guest for Michael Keaton. Again, I believe we mentioned this in the previous episode. Her album that came out in April, May, sometime around then.
Sometime April. Yeah, no, I think it was May.
I had it looping. Regardless of when it came. It was so good. I'm pumped to see some of this live. She always brings it for SNL. So
I'm gonna go see her on this tour in November. Ooh. So I'm pretty excited.
Good.
Yeah.
You got to come back with stories on that one. That's going to be really, really fun. And Michael Keaton and Billie Eilish both hitting their fourth time with this episode.
Wow.
Yeah. Very wild. Maybe they'll bond over that. Oh my God, you did 4? I did 4.
Billie's only ever done musical guest.
Billie has been the musical guest 4 times, and then one of those times she was also the host.
She did host. Okay.
Near Christmas of 2021.
Okay.
Yep. December 14th, I want to say. Again, text box right here if that is incorrect.
Check.
But yeah, so that's that episode. Both hitting their 4th time. So any day now, Billy's getting that 5. That'll be exciting.
She'll have to host for her 5th time, I would think. Well, I guess that
I think they consider musical
count?
Guests sometime. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Paul Simon was always in those 5-timer sketches, but he hosted maybe twice.
That's true. Okay, that's true.
So I think it counts. I think it counts. Even if it doesn't, in our minds, Billy has the jacket. After the next time. Not now. After the next time.
Not this time.
You don't get it that easy, Billy. If you're watching.
And she is.
Yeah, sure. And then,
Thank God.
I know. I think we had, he didn't make it last year. Is that correct?
Maybe not, since it was a little bit shorter with the strike.
I don't know. His last time was in 2022, because that's when we had the 5-timer sketch with Conan appearing.
Yes.
So yeah, and this is his 6th time. So he missed last season. He's back now. This will make 6 times in 6 calendar years.
Mm-hmm.
His first time hosting was 2018. This one's a no-brainer. This one's fantastic.
Yeah,
but
that's always going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And but here's what I want to talk about. And I started thinking about this, months ago. But back in May, he had the talk show on Netflix. I don't know if you saw any of that. Everybody's in LA.
Parts of it. I never sat down and watched all of it.
I thought it was really. There were some episodes where I was like, okay. Some episodes were fantastic, and it made me go, "Oh crap! John Mulaney is a late night host. That could be interesting." But what makes this particular hosting stint really fascinating was when they did that, I started thinking like, well, could they do a New York counterpart for that show specifically, potentially around New York Comedy Festival, which is in November.
Right, because the LA one was for
Netflix as a joke.
Netflix, yes, the Netflix festival.
And so, like, a comedy festival celebrating, like, LA, celebrating comedians, but mostly people in and around LA, you gotta assume maybe there's something in the works for a New York version during their big comedy festival.
That would make sense.
And so New York Comedy Festival starts the week after John Mulaney hosts Saturday Night Live. John Mulaney hosts November 2nd. New York Comedy Festival begins November 8th. So whether or not it happens, I would love to see kind of that two-hander. We did six shows in LA. We're going to do 6 shows in New York. I would get a huge kick out of that.
I think you're spot on with that. I'll be surprised if that doesn't happen.
now I've said it. Now
that you've laid it all out, and that makes perfect sense to me. And I think that if he doesn't do it, then he's doing something wrong.
Then somebody needs to contact me, and I'll make this happen. I'll get it going. Because everybody's in LA. That's another very SNL heavy cast.
Yes.
Anna Dresden and Fran Gillespie were on that writing staff with him. So I wouldn't doubt if it's at least come up in conversation that like, we worked a lot in LA, but like we've worked a lot in New York too. We could talk about this, who knows? Again, I'm just spitballing, but we do have a stand-up comedian in town in November.
Yes.
I know he lives here, but still. John Mulaney, and then musical guest Chappell Roan.
No brainer.
Fascinating. No notes. That episode is one for the stands. And I
saw someone on Twitter say, "Oh, good, 2 people that the internet is totally normal about."
That's too real.
So, you got it.
Yeah, I only had that reaction one other time, and it was season 48's Jenna Ortega with musical guest The 1975. Ooh. I was like, uh-oh, Twitter's gonna light up. And maybe that has something, they take that into consideration with the bookings. It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, that's our lineup. And because they've released so many episodes. It's likely that we're not getting back together like this until at least Halloween. So,
yeah,
that'll be fun.
Surely they'll put something out because they're doing a 1-week break between Mulaney and Keaton.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So if they follow their usual pattern, there will be shows the 2 weeks after Mulaney's. So maybe sometime mid-October we get another announcement of a set of hosts.
We'll just have to wait and see, as we are unaffiliated. If we were affiliated, By the Numbers would still be in last week's episode, and it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm just thrilled.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see you back here next time we talk about that. But I want to talk about some other things that happened in the world of SNL. I listened to Michael Che and Colin Jost were on Howard Stern a couple days ago. I think last Tuesday, the 10th. I listened to that episode and it was fantastic. They were a lot of fun. More on that next episode. I have something to talk about that came up in that interview.
Okay.
But one thing that shocked me, I was like, oh, they're there to promote the 50th season of SNL. That's so wonderful. They were, but they were also there to promote a Peacock special they were doing. Did you hear about this at all?
Not until you told me about it. I saw nothing about this.
I didn't either. And so I'm like, this is news to me. I was listening to it on the day that it was to air. So I was like, well, I'm going to get home and watch this. The way they were talking about it, it kind of struck me like it was going to be in the style of Everybody's in LA. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. It was more like, really, honestly, any stand-up show you would see up here. You know, you have your two hosts. We saw that Andrew Dismuke's show when you were here in 2023. It was a very similar structure to that, to Treen, which was Bowen Yang's old stand-up show pre-pandemic. Mm-hmm. You have your hosts, they come up, they tell a few jokes, and then a guest comedian that does about 10 minutes. And then you just alternate through that. That was the structure of the show. Live from the Bell House, which looked gorgeous on TV. So, yeah, that was a really cool thing. I highly recommend anybody go watch it, although I think actually it might be off Peacock now. So
it was just live and then...
So I when I looked it up the next day, it said like 4 days left to watch or something like that. And I was like, interesting. So let me just tell you about it. It had Alex English was the first stand-up comedian they had who used to write for SNL. Sarah Sherman appeared and did a walk-on. And then there were a couple, I want to make sure I credit everybody. Alex English, Sarah Sherman, Mike Birbiglia did a set. Ada Rodriguez, Amina Amani, and Carlos Miller. Those three I wasn't familiar with before the show. Yeah. But I mean, it was really fun. I hope they make that a recurring thing that maybe they do every like couple of months or so. It also kind of makes you wonder, Colin's taking the Jeopardy gig. They're starting this stand-up show. Season 50 is here. Like I'm starting to feel like some people may be diversifying their portfolio a bit for potentially a departure after this season.
That is what it seems like to me.
Yeah,
I hope that it's not the case, but
I don't either. But you got to think this is number 11 for Colin and Michael as Weekend Update hosts.
Yeah.
So I believe they are the two longest serving. Actually, I know they are the two longest serving Weekend Update anchors ever. So, and with it being season 50,
it makes perfect sense.
We're talking about them. Yeah. We're talking about Kenan Thompson. We're talking about a lot of people. I mean, even Lorne Michaels. So, we'll just have to keep our ear to the ground and live it up while we got them. And then Will Ferrell is on Las Culturistas, which is Bowen Yang's podcast next week, which had us talking about potentially a hosting appearance for him.
Because of his new documentary that I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, I do believe it's out today.
Oh, is it? I'll have to go check it out.
So, for those of you who don't know, I think it's just called Will and Harper.
I think so.
Harper Steele was a former head writer for Saturday Night Live who transitioned about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so the documentary is about basically, the way I heard it described is like Will kind of reacquainting himself with a friend he's known forever. So it's going to be a very, very interesting look at someone who transitions late in life, which is its own, I'm sure is its own set of, it's a very unique experience. So yeah, that's going to be a very fascinating documentary for sure.
Everybody who has said anything about it has said that it's very heartwarming and touching and important.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be exciting if Will Ferrell gets the hosting gig. That would be extremely exciting if Harper Steele gets to come back and write a bit or
that
appear.
Would be fun. Yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun. So that's it. That's all I got for our SNL recap. What, you're going to say one more thing?
Oh, I did. I was going to ask if you'd seen this. I forgot to add it to our little recap. You see, Sarah Sherman did a guest spot on a soap opera.
I heard this was happening. I meant to look it up. Wait, I need to watch this. Was it good?
I saw just like a little bit of it. She played like a dialect coach on maybe One Life to Live. But yeah, she just like came on and did this little bit part in the soap opera and then left.
That's incredible. I meant to, I don't know where I heard about it, but I meant to, you know what? It might have been Colin and Michael's show.
Oh, really?
They might have like brought it up as like a, like Sarah's going to be in a soap opera, kind of a joke thing, even though it definitely wasn't a joke.
No.
But yeah, that's incredible. So everybody go watch whatever show that was, One Life to Live.
I think it was One Life to Live.
Who knows? It was General Hospital.
Oh, shoot. It was. Okay. General Hospital.
It was General Hospital. Keeping it in the NBC family.
Oh, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. So everybody go find that. I'm sure it's wild. It has about as much gravitas as Jelly Roll doing the In Memoriam, I think. But yeah, amazing. So now, as we do every time, because again, we are not one-trick ponies, we do watch more TV than just Saturday Night Live, even though we don't want to. So I'm going to let you take it away first. What you been watching, Caroline Morrison?
I have been revisiting Search Party. Have you ever seen it?
Search Party. No, I have not, but I've heard incredible things. So you stream it, right?
Yes, it initially aired on TBS, maybe?
Yeah.
But I think it moved to HBO Max, whatever.
Okay.
For the last 2 seasons, maybe.
Gotcha. So that's where it is now.
So I think you can watch all of it on HBO.
Okay, cool. Tell us about it. What do you think?
It's a little hard to describe because it changes genres every season.
Oh, wait, I didn't know that about it.
And it's this, and they do it really well. But the first season just centers around. Did you ever watch Arrested Development?
Yeah.
So it's got Aaliyah Shawkat. She's the main. Yes. So it's like she plays this girl, and a college acquaintance of hers goes missing, and she kind of gets like wrapped up in it and tries to find her, and it's a little bit of like a mystery. And then the second season, it transitions into more of a true crime kind of thing. And then the third season, it's mostly a court drama. And then it really goes off the rails for the last 2 seasons. And the finale it changes genres one more time in the last 3 episodes of the series. It is unlike anything else I've ever seen. It is incredible.
That's fascinating. And interesting that like it got really weird after it left cable. It's like, God, we're in streaming now. We can do whatever. We can do whatever we want.
They really do. I don't want to spoil it, but oh my God.
Okay. All right. Well,
but it's just a fantastic show. It's really well done. The cast is so fun.
Yeah. Interesting. Maybe that's my next thing, because like I've known about that for a long time. I think it came out in like 2017 or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's been out for a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good that like it ends so well too.
It's also
give that a look.
Fun little. You get a lot of good guest stars. A lot of people that are part of, I guess you call it the Lost Culture like universe. You get like Cole Scola, Pat Regan, Catherine Cohen.
The Brooklyn comedy.
Yeah,
like,
all those
sphere.
people. Yeah, and they're kind of in and out. It's fun. It's very good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I highly recommend.
That's got to be my next one then, because like I'm watching a mini series now. We were talking about earlier. So once that's done, then I'll probably kick into Search Party, because that just
it's definitely worth it.
Sounds like a wild ride, which I love.
Amazing.
Anything else about Search Party other than go see it?
No, just a big recommend for me. Yeah,
big thumbs way up.
Everybody should watch it, because I don't have anybody to talk about it with. I need someone else to have seen it.
When did the most recent season come out?
The series ended in 2022, maybe.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think it was 2022.
Huh. All right.
But yeah.
So you're really saving me from the spoilers, because I know. I apologize. Yeah, I will be the first to report it. You know what? What I'm going to do is I won't tell you when I finish Search Party. I'm just going to put it up there. And you'll be like, Search Party! And that's how we'll talk about it. So,
absolutely.
Tune in for that. All right, amazing. So now it's up to me. And again, remember when I said last week, like, I put shameful things up here and put things I'm not proud of?
Right.
Sometimes. Yes. Caroline's already seen what I'm about to say, but the show I've been watching, it's Big Brother, the CBS reality show where they trap 16 people in a house and make a show. Here's how I got into it. Was Sari Fields, who was a cast member on Survivor, which I really enjoy. I watched all that growing up, and then went back and did the full send during the pandemic, because me and my parents were really into it.
Yeah.
So then when Sari was announced as a Big Brother cast member for last year, I was like, I'm hooked. I gotta go. I gotta go see Sari. I gotta go support. And that season was fine. It was very slow, and I was like, I don't think I can do Big Brother. This year, Big Brother comes around again, and I'm like, let me dip my toe in it. This has been the best season of reality TV, and I don't watch much, but like, best season of reality competition TV in a long, long time for me. And I've been keeping up with Survivor. In fact, Survivor premieres tonight, and I'm not excited to see it.
Oh,
no, not exciting. It was a chore to watch last year. Yeah, I think there's something about, I mean, the show is too self-aware, I think, and it's a little too proud of itself, and that is affecting the people that they're finding and the moments that they decide to show. Big Brother, it references itself. It's got a few cast members who say, like, I'm a huge fan of Big Brother. I can't believe I'm here. But the whole show isn't about itself.
Yeah.
And this season has been like really breaking its own format. It's been throwing a lot of really good like surprises in there. Like they've been doing the twists, the aspect of like reality show twists way better than Survivor has in the last 5 years, unfortunately. So, like, as much as it pains me, I made a meme a couple weeks ago when I've watched actually 3 seasons of Big Brother. I was rewatching Big Brother 16, not rewatching, but watching for the first time. Big Brother season 16 back a few months ago, and I made this meme when I did that, and that's kind of how that's how I feel recommending Big Brother. Period.
Well, you told me you were watching it, and you confided it in me and I thought you were going to tell me something terrible that you had done. The way that you set it up, I was like, oh, I don't want to hear whatever this is. Yeah, I don't think we can go back.
Right, I don't want to be implicated, but nope, it was just because I was watching Big Brother. I think I like took you by the hands. I'm like, I'm going to tell you something that really
confessed it to me, yeah.
Yeah. But hey, I stand by it, honestly. And there was a moment a couple weeks ago where I was like, maybe this season has reached its peak and it's just going to kind of peter out. This week, crazy. I got to give it up. It's so good. So yeah. You got to watch it. Yes, there are some corny moments for sure. But
it's reality TV. I mean,
it's reality TV. Just stick around for the good stuff, and you won't regret it. That's all we got this time, Caroline. Any last words before we go away for at least a month? I would say.
Nope. It's finally here. I thought we would never actually get to season 50. It felt like they were just gonna pop up on Instagram and go, we decided not to do it, guys.
Pass. It's canceled.
Lauren's not feeling it. We're just gonna...
Yeah.
We'll wait.
That was the fascinating part. We actually might not have talked about how, like, we were talking about... Because this week, we were kind of feeling... you and I were kind of getting antsy, like, okay, are we missing something?
Yeah.
Has this happened yet? And so we were talking just today about, like, they didn't do it in the early part of the week. Does that mean they're going to wait until like the Monday of show week to talk about it? That's when I went back and I dug and I said, well, when did they announce it last year? And this is where we pick up from our text conversation that I screenshotted here. I realized that they announced last year 10 days prior to the season premiere at 4:01 p.m. That was when the tweet went out last year. And then I had this moment where it was like Raven Simone style, like vision, everything just went whoosh. And I'm like, oh my God, let me crunch the numbers. We are literally 10 days away right now from the start of the season. So I texted you, I was like, wait a second. Does this mean last year they announced it at 4 p.m. Right now it's 10 days before the premiere at 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Does this happen today? And at 4:01 p.m. by the grace of God, I couldn't believe that it was the same time of day. 10 days prior to the start of the season, they announced it. So look at us go.
Yeah.
We had like 3 hours of warning for this episode, which we won't get again. So yeah, Caroline, as always, it's a pleasure. I love talking SNL with you.
It's a good time.
Enjoy the season, the first part of the season.
Yeah,
and
the first 5 episodes.
And we'll see you all sometime in October, we think. Goodbye.